You should keep your hands off another man's bat unless you can take that bat away from Tony Khan before he kneecaps his tag team division like he did with that main event. Oh, they were so close. They were so goddamn close to having one of the best episodes of television they had in quite a while. The in-ring action, the hot crowd, even with the pitfalls, not Pitfall to Mayan Adventure, they were doing some really good shit. And they fucked it up at the end. Congratulations, Tony Khan. You almost had it. But then you shattered both femurs right at the finish line. Anyway, I'm John Rectum with my review of AEW Dynamite from El Paso, Texas. The home of the Guerrero promotion. Gory Guerrero promoting in one of the hotbeds for professional wrestling as far as Texas wrestling goes. Eddie and so many of the Guerreros and so many great talents started in El Paso and grew and became great stars. Eddie, one of my favorites of all time. I'll talk about Eddie and a couple tributes to Eddie during this particular show. I really liked most of this Dynamite, even the stuff that I didn't necessarily care for. The crowd was up for it. This was really good. And then, even trying to put a little bit of logic about what they could do, with the end result going forward, there isn't a lot of good that they can do that will come from this because they just basically kneecapped their tag team division. I mean, they already had started to do it anyway, but... Anyway, so we have Excalibur, Taz, and Tony Schiavone on commentary. I do like that Schiavone does have enthusiasm, though at this point he basically just is a soundbite machine. That being said, he does seem to be happy to be there. I don't know why they ran that venue. I don't know much about El Paso, but why did it just look like a big warehouse? I mean, genuine question. Do they not have any bigger venues in El Paso? The crowd was pretty much electric for most of the show until that main event. And then everybody could just start to sense, they're going to fuck it up, aren't they? And they taped Rampage after this, so I really hope the crowd got back up for Rampage. I really do. So we get MJF versus Konosuke Takeshita. It's taken me a really long time to even come close to pronouncing that correctly. I hope I got it right. AEW World Title Eliminator match. MJF 2024 on the jacket. And I love MJF. And yes, even with the goofy stuff in DDT that I've seen clips of Takeshita doing, Takeshita's a hell of a goddamn talent. Plenty of people have done plenty of stupid shit. So if I just focus on what Takeshita has done in his sojourns to the U.S., and he's done a lot of great shit, and it's impossible to ignore what an incredible athlete he is. He is over with the crowd. They love him. He was doing some great shit here, and MJF was being a great heel, as you would expect. He obviously wanted to take out Takeshita after what Takeshita had done for the past couple of weeks. He focused on the arm. Takeshita kept just firing back. And then at one point did a frog splash. Eddie chance. That was very nice. Very good tribute to Eddie Guerrero. Big pop from the crowd. That was really good to see. But the one thing that I really did like, even though I normally would hate a spot like this, there was a sit down driver and then a deadlift German. That was really good. But then they go up top, like after MJF crotches him on the top. Then they go up and they're kind of battling. And then Takeshita hits him with a lariat. And MJF does a perfect just flip and lands on his feet. And it's like, does this because MJF is just a natural. MJF has had one of the best runs in any company, even with the Jericho feud. MJF has had an incredible run in AEW. And while I hope he sticks around past this year, it's going to be interesting to see just both companies throw incredible amounts of money at him, and they will want to do that. You want to keep this guy. Even if he maybe is only around in wrestling for another 5 to 7 years, if Hollywood keeps calling. If this Iron Claw movie takes off, MJF is an absolute centerpiece you got to have for your company. And Takeshita is an incredible talent. Did great with selling the arm and everything because MJF's setting up for Salt of the Earth. This was a great opening match. They hit the fucking ground running on this. It's going to be a recurring theme. They went back and forth with the hammer fists and the elbows. Then we got, a rollout from the Salt of the Earth. We got a dive. And then we We did get a crotch spot where MJF kicked the ropes right into the nuts of Takeshita. No, never, you know what, never mind, screw it. Okay, I'm tired. Kanutska, there it is. It sounds like a Canadian province. But anyway, we get powerbomb on the knees. MJF does that, but he's selling the knee because he missed a knee drop, and he's like pissed off at him. He did that, but then he did that. He's like, ow, damn it. Ow, that's my knee. I need that to walk. Need that. There it is. And we get a big knee to the face and a foot on the rope, and then he misses a senton. Takeshita does by getting, on the middle, or, in the middle of the ring, missing a senton, salt to the earth, roll through, gets it again, and, does the, massive arm bend, and Takeshita can't fight out, and he taps out. Good stuff. Good stuff. Hell of a start. And then MJF, pushes, I believe it's Paul Turner, referee Paul Turner, pushes him out of the way, and gets the ring, hits the ring shot, and then busts open Takeshita, and Danielson runs down to make the save. Okay, nice, good aftermath. Takeshita looked like he might actually beat MJF. They had a couple nice near falls. Very good TV match. And then a Samoa Joe pre-tape. The king of television, Wardlow, I've taken your championship and your scalp. You talk about wanting to take something from me, but I know all your secrets, and I will peel back those layers of the onion, and I will expose all your secrets, everything about you. I mean, I can't summarize a Samoa Joe promo properly. Just listen to what he says. And Jamie Hayter getting a big pop, taking on the Bunny. So it's Jamie Hayter with Britt and Rebel, and good God, Rebel in those red pants. Moving on from that. The Bunny and Penelope Ford. AEW Women's Championship Eliminator match. Referee Rick Knox. Shockingly, Rick Knox actually seemed halfway competent here, maybe because he was actually here with, one wrestler and one that was trying and not gymnasts. But scintillating camera work during this match, as I noted. The Bunny is not good in the ring. She's not the worst I've seen, but she's not great. They battle outside during the break. I really do hope the Bunny is okay, though, because there was this awkward release plex, this throw that Jamie was trying to do, and I think the Bunny landed wrong. I don't know what they were trying to do. It looked rough. They probably should have said, hey, wait, let's reposition ourselves, but unfortunately they went with it. And the finish kind of came quickly because she hit the Haterade 1, 2, 3. I hope the Bunny's all right, because that did look very rough. But then, suddenly, we cut to Renee, along with Tony Storm and Saraya, Defender of Abuserverse. And remember when Tony actually seemed like she might mean something? Tony Storm has been with the company for close to a year now. I think she debuted sometime late last March, Dynamite. And I just gotta be honest, Tony Storm doesn't feel important. Saraya doesn't feel important. They bring Leva Bates on. Oh, your first name begins with L, and then they spray paint her and they said, we're not here to make friends, baby girl. We're here to take over. I know that it's probably a British thing, but it sounds really creepy when Saraya says that, probably because she's dating an equally creepy guy that has a laundry list of crimes. Yeah, Ronnie Radke can go straight to goddamn hell as far as I'm concerned. This was bad. This was the first bad thing they had on the show. Recaps of the opening match, and then Lexi is trying to talk to MJF, and MJF cuts a promo where he talks about being such a speed demon driver that he was just 1 point away from losing his license. And then they went to the junior prom. Him and his friends, they were in the Letterman jackets, and he saw this girl. Well, for the sake of not naming names, let's just call her Liv. And it's kind of playing off the whole thing where I believe MJF and Liv met and took a couple pictures at, I want to say it was when AEW and WWE might have been in New York around the same time or whatever. I don't exactly remember. I think it was sometime last year. But Liv is a fan of wrestling. And considering, the age, they probably knew each other before. Maybe, I don't necessarily know, but I mean, that's not who this actually was, but people started the rumor and innuendo or inherendo. And he says, oh, let's just call her Liv. And he basically tells this whole thing about how, this girl went with him after he kind of sweet talked her. She was all beautiful, talking about all this. She was perfect. And he mentioned about driving really fast while he simulates that she was giving him roadhead, which, by the way, is a little bit difficult if you don't have enough space between your seat and your steering wheel. Believe me, I can speak from experience. Don't ask me anything more. But they are speeding, and it was really a slick road, and he ends up wrecking his car 90 miles an hour into a telephone pole. They should have been dead. They should have been dead. But he then says, I heard police sirens, and so what I did is I looked over and I saw her, and I took her unconscious body and I put her in the driver's seat so I wouldn't get in trouble. And then he says, so that's just to prove I'm a scumbag, and that's to prove I'll do anything, and Danielson, you don't have what it takes, all that, and he fires up and all this, and it was a weird promo. It did prove he's a scumbag, and people are just going to absolutely want to see him lose, but he also admitted to a crime that on cable television. I mean, I'm not saying heels haven't done, done stuff like that, or, done promos that really cut to the bone, but he just admitted to a goddamn crime on cable television. Not necessarily certain that's a great idea, unless, of course, he was taken to court and the whole double jeopardy thing, which means Ashley Judd and Tommy Lee Jones will be involved, and that movie was absolutely terrible. But nevertheless, he confessed to a crime on cable television. Hell of a promo. I don't really know what the point was. Speaking of not knowing what the point was, the Garcia Guevara Gauntlet. So, basically, Ricky Starks has to beat 3 of the Jericho appreciators to get at Jericho. The guy that he beat, not necessarily clean, but he beat him in Seattle. I know, I was there. It was a big pop, and then he got laid out through a table, and oh, look, Ricky Starks had all this momentum coming out of that match with MJF, and went into this feud with Jericho, and he beat him in Seattle, and now all of a sudden this feud is dragging on longer, like every other Jericho feud of the past few years. Because Jericho loves to leech off of people because he's not any good anymore. You want to talk about a cancer in the locker room? That's a cancer in the goddamn locker room. But Ricky Starks beats the two 2.0 guys pretty quickly. One with a spear and then one right afterwards with a roll-up. And then Garcia and Sammy show up and they tease who's going to be, and it's Garcia. Remember when Daniel Garcia could have actually been something in AEW and now he just feels like another guy? I mean, I'm not saying you could have rocketed him right up there, and I know he's apparently the Ring of Honor Pure Champion, which would probably matter more if Ring of Honor had like a cable, a cable broadcast and not just pay-per-views. I know they're going to have television or, weekly episodes on Honor Club for now. This has done nothing for Ricky. The work was fine. There was a spear on the apron for no goddamn reason. And then suddenly a fan in a mask attacks Starks with the back elbow. Gee, he hit him with a juice effect. Who was it? Oh, Garcia covers 1, 2, 3. It was Jericho. The whole cruise thing definitely hasn't done anything for him. He kind of looked like a blow-beached whale, but I digress. The announcers played dumb. This has done nothing. This has done nothing for Ricky. And I hate to say it, Ricky might already be toast. Ricky still gets big reactions. This isn't doing anything for him. If Jericho had suddenly done, had pulled this shocking, heelish win, with all the tricks in the book and everything, yeah, the crowd probably wouldn't have loved it in Seattle, but it would have been what it was. And then Ricky could have gotten something back and said, I'm going to keep coming at you until I finally beat you. Okay, but now we're working backwards. It just doesn't make any sense. So this was something, and the crowd kind of was not all that excited about this, but then again, they were up for most of it. So, all right, one thing going down, that's fine. We can pick it right back up. Billy with the Acclaimed. He will stay in the back for their main event match. He doesn't. Backstage, and Danielson is checking on Takeshita, and suddenly he's locked in the trainer's room and can't get out. Roosh makes his entrance. MJF comes out in a tracksuit and also with a wrapped knee because of the knee thing earlier, and says, "Hey, Danielson's not here, and he's scheduled for a match. So Aubrey, you need to count him out because Danielson's got this one last hurdle to face off against Roosh, or to face off against MJF. He's just got to beat Roosh. So Aubrey's counting, but she's counting really slow because MJF is deciding to insult her, and the crowd's chanting, Aubrey, Aubrey. So she gets to like 5, I think, maybe, before Danielson starts to appear. He does manage to get the door open, lays out Jose the assistant, and press 10 Vance, or whatever they're calling him, that stupid, wordy way of calling it. Just call him something that isn't so wordy. And Danielson manages to make it to the ring, and we get Danielson versus Roosh, and he rooshes Danielson right there. It's the final hurdle, and this was really good. This is one of the best TV matches that has been put on in quite a while. I am convinced that Danielson doesn't want to be walking by the age of 50 because he at one point bladed or got hard weight. It's actually really hard to tell. He was gushing. He was bleeding bad. And Roosh was beating him up. They were chanting some not very nice things to Roosh in Spanish. I understood they were calling him a dog at one point. I don't know that much Spanish. I took 1 year of it in high school. I learned more from the girls in the Spanish class than I did from the actual class, but I digress. Taz and MJF are just joking around, also complimenting each other, talking about shoulder injuries because Danielson's got the bad shoulder, and Mike should say shoulder, and Roosh is just zeroing in on, focusing on, and doing some really good stuff. And Roosh is really talented. I don't know how well he's going to fit in going forward because even though this is a great match, they're so stocked with talent, you have to wonder, what are they going to do here with Roosh? Because he just kind of seems like a guy that might win like a good match, but then something like this, he's going to lose. Now, obviously, he would need to be the guy that would be the final hurdle. This has been a little bit off, but they really are trying to heat this MJF Danielson thing. So, Danielson gushing like crazy. Danielson fires back. The crowd very much woke up. Every time Danielson would hit the kicks, see, and then Roosh would hit, no, see, no, see, no. It's like we're watching Highly Questionable with Dan Le Batard and Poppy. If anybody gets that, I love you guys. Some great stuff, a straight jacket pile driver for 2. And then he hit 1 bukkake knee and then hit another bukkake knee. I know it's Busaiku, but still, work with me here. He just splattered right all over his face. 1, 2, 3, and there you go. Speaking of splattering, at one point there was a belly-to-belly release off the apron to the floor for a break spot, and blood splattered all over the camera. So anyway, yeah, Danielson clears the final hurdle. MJF comes down, gets the armbar on, lays out some security guards, gets another armbar on, and he's just focused. He's just all like this, like, how dare you, how dare you, how dare you just continue to fight back. And this was good. This was good stuff. I like the fact that they were really trying to heat up this MJF Danielson thing. And then, unfortunately, we go right back down to earth with Shivani, rather. Out of Danielson and MJF, we get to Shivani with 2 idiots from Impractical Jokers. They had Jericho's bat. And what ended up happening was Taz said, you should keep your hands off another man's bat. The Kansas song, Wayward Son, is forever ruined. Okay, we're going to pick up the rest of this review really, really quickly. Top Flight and AR Fox against the Elite, referee Rick Knox, AEW Trios Championship match. Same as it ever was. Same as it ever was. Don Callis on commentary. And I know that there was some athletic stuff that happened here. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care about the Trios. I don't care about the Trios division. I just don't. Knox nearly blew a 3 count. And then there was a crucifix pin, 1, 2, 3. There you go. That was almost 20 minutes of cable television for a match that pretty much you could go see if you just went and watched the Shrine Circus. I'm not saying these guys aren't athletes. I like Top Flight, and I'm glad AR Fox, for all his hard work on the indies, is getting featured. And the Bucks and Omega have their fans. I praise the Omega Ospreay match at Wrestle Kingdom 17. But I'm sorry, this is just the exact same shit that it's always been. And then we do a package on Hook, and then Hook attacks Stokely. I don't know why you would attack a small child, and then I realized that was Stokely, but then again, children have a chance to grow up. Stokely is pretty much just at the height that he is, and will always be. Mean he can walk under the bottom rope without ducking. I guess Hook is going to continue to attack the Firm. I don't really know what the point of that was, but whatever. Rampage, we will hear from Mark Briscoe in other matches. Good, we're going to hear from Mark Briscoe. Here's an idea. Retire the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships and just do new Tag Team Championships with a new legacy and have the Briscoes be the final Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions there. Just have that happen. Come up with another name, and that way it honors the Briscoes' legacy and forges a new one for whatever tag division they have. The Acclaimed, we will shoot you down like a Chinese spy balloon or spay balloon, as Marco Rubio said, because Marco Rubio is a coward and an idiot, just like anybody that agrees with him. You're all fucking cowards, just want to say. So, the Acclaimed versus the Guns, AEW Tag Title match. There were 13 minutes left, and I said, this is the main event. I have a bad feeling. That bad feeling was realized because the Guns just aren't that good. I mean, they're not awful, but they're not that good, and this Acclaimed Guns feud has not been good. The Guns and FTR, that stuff, especially being, there for the lame funeral of FTR back in Seattle, that was not good. The Guns are not ready for this spot. There was a ref bump where the ref took a better bump than half the goddamn roster and actually sold it better than the Elite ever sell anything. And then Billy comes down to stop a belt shot that gets hit with the other tag belt. And then the crowd was booing all this because they could sense bullshit and shenanigans. This is very sloppy. This is very bad. The referee finally got back in to make very slow 2 counts. And then eventually a belt shot to Bowens. Roll up 1, 2, 3. The Guns are the new tag team champions, and there you go. You pretty much just kneecapped your entire tag division in one night. Now, yes, the Acclaimed could win the titles back at Revolution. The Guns could prove, hey, Dad, we didn't actually need you. We just wanted to make you proud. We just wanted to do this. Or they could have FTR come back and beat them at Revolution. But the Guns being that, this is a late WCW, this is a late era WCW decision where it's just for a swerve or a shock. And it's not good. It's not good at all. They were so close to having such a tremendous episode of Dynamite, even with the stuff I didn't care for. And they ended up just evaporating that. And even the Guns were just like, wait, we actually won this? We're like really confused by this. Everything seemed really confusing. They showed the crowd. The crowd was chanting bullshit. They had to cut that. The fans are pissed. And it's not like pissed like, oh, I want to see the Guns get beat. No, you screwed over the Acclaimed. It was just like, no, this is really, really bad. This is stupid. We don't understand why you would do this. And I don't think a lot of people understand why they did this. Tony Khan proving that maybe he doesn't actually know what the hell he's doing. And he did some good stuff here. And a lot of people can call their own shots and do some good stuff in the parameters of putting together a coherent show. And overall, this was a fairly coherent show. And then they did that. And I am just not excited about the tag division anymore. And I haven't cared for what the Guns and the Acclaim have done lately because it's all been stagey sports entertainment bullshit and not the good kind. So yeah, maybe you need to switch the championships, but the Acclaimed had a really flat run. Like, yes, they won it on the Dynamite Grand Slam. They won it there, and it was a big pop, and they did some good stuff, but they have not felt that important in at least 6 to 8 weeks. Yeah, they had the thing with Jarrett and Lethal, and we got to see the Aubrey fix the whole, attempt at a screw job, but it's just, this didn't work. This ending did not work at all, and I'm not that excited about the immediate future of the tag division. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ricklin. I'll see you soon.